Why should we study old masters' artwork? There are so many famous artists that copied other artists' work, or they studied them, or they got inspired by them. Let's look at some examples. For example, Vincent van Gogh loved Rembrandt's bold brush strokes, and also he remastered some of Jean-Francois Millet's art pieces. Paul Cézanne was inspiration for Pablo Picasso, and Picasso inspired Salvador Dali, and the list goes on. But why were they inspired so much, and how can we use this knowledge in our advantage? Let's discuss this while I am making my own reproduction of Vermeer's The Girl with the Pearl Earring. Now let's learn why is it a good idea to study old masters' artwork. Number 1, perspective. Understanding how the artist created the moments with great intensity and concentration will also help us figure out how we would depict those moments ourselves. This would cause us to create a different perspective each time with a different artist. For example, here, why is this woman in the dark? Why is she not smiling? What is in her eyes? Is that sorrow? Is that frustration? Or is that hope? Number 2, precision. Even though artists used camera obscura technique quite often in the past, the realism we see in the artworks during and after Renaissance is mind-blowing. How did the artist depict an action scene in such great precision? Thinking about this would even give us many ideas about our own precision. For example, in The Girl with the Pearl Earring portrait, the shading and lighting in fabric folds and the headscarf is nearly perfect. How did he achieve that? I mean, let's remember it took Vermeer a few years to complete a single painting, and we know that it would take a few years to finish a portrait for Vermeer. So I'm really hoping that that lady was not posing in the same clothes like that for years. That will be a hostage situation. Seriously. Number 3, getting to know the times. By studying old masters' works, we learn so many things about their times. And also this will give you a broader vision in art. For example, the royal symbolism during Renaissance, the pyramid structure in religious paintings, the dark brown and black colors of Baroque movement, and the individualism and the power of nature that was portrayed in Romanticism paintings as a reaction to Industrial Revolution. As you can see with the elements in it, every painting reflects its time that it was created in. Let's look at Vermeer's portrait. The pearl symbolizes status, so we assume this woman was a relative or a friend rather than a maid. The headscarf here marks the times when East influence was felt in West due to increased trade. Number 4, getting to know what the artists think. The objects and colors in a composition tell us a lot about the artist. Why did the artist choose that portrait over others? Or why are some objects located in a certain position rather than somewhere else? Why the colors were chosen the way they were? For example, Van Gogh used yellow a lot in his palette, whereas Monet was in love with pastel colors. What did Dali want to say with melting clocks and extremely long and thin legs and arms? Realizing these kinds of details help us figure out how we want to express ourselves in our art. If you look at Vermeer's art, he loves yellow and he uses blue and yellow together a lot of times in a beautiful way. And you can see this in this painting as well, in The Girl with the Pearl Earring. Number 5, learning the techniques. Famous artists develop their own techniques or improve the existing ones. If we notice these techniques and learn them, we can try them in our own process, and maybe during this process we could develop our very own ones. Among these techniques, we can give example of Leonardo da Vinci's sfumato and Bob Ross's alla prima. While I was drawing Vermeer's The Girl with the Pearl Earring portrait, I admired how he used the light. While following his steps, I realized some techniques he used which I would have never figured out if I hadn't drawn this piece. For example, he used bright yellow color for the teeth and in the middle of her cheek. Besides, on the yellow part of the scarf and the white collar, we see blue shadows, blue lines following the fold lines. It made me realize he used the color wheel, the complementary colors, in such a smart way. For example, the warm yellow was used with bright blue, the clothing had green undertones in it, and that made the redness of the lips pop out even more. And finally, in the end, what did I learn while drawing Vermeer's portrait? So in overall, what did I learn during those 4 hours that I drew this beautiful Vermeer portrait, The Girl with the Pearl Earring? I went to the year 1665 and I realized how pure her beauty is without even her hair showing and even without a complete smile. I saw the power of contrast, the power of light in bringing the face to the center of the piece. I also noticed how using complementary colors will help my portrait stand out. After I complete my artwork, I looked at it and I thought to myself, now I understand why they call him artists of women, because he portrays not just what he sees, but what the woman feels. If you want to keep watching, click on the next video. I will see you there. Bye! Thanks for watching my video. If you like my videos, please don't forget to subscribe. And for my real-time narrated tutorials, visit my Patreon, patreon.com/Ece Gurler. Stay with art and love.